You know, sometimes in life you just have to laugh. You just do. Because to quote a couple of good movies, Dumb and Dumber, stupid is as stupid does, the blind leading the blind as a phrase, that's what this breaking story is all about. And I'm going to show you that to you in just a few seconds because you will not believe. On the GOP side of things, the Republican side of things, the actual senator who just called Donald Trump out in the greatest way, and yet, when you consider the source, it just has to put a smile on your face. And this is why. Because the attack, that's this breaking story you have to see, comes from this guy.
Let me try to put all this in context for you.
Getting rid of the 60 vote threshold in the Senate, in my judgment, would be like giving whiskey and car keys to a teenage boy.
I like omelets. I really like omelets. I like omelets better than sex. The brain is an amazing organ. It starts working in a mother's womb, and it doesn't stop working until you get elected to Congress. Not really, but you get the point. I like omelets.
Now, to answer your question, even duct tape can't fix stupid.
You can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs.
This country was founded by geniuses, but it's being run by a bunch of idiots.
Now, President Trump ran for office saying, I'm going to review every single penny in the federal budget.
Putting the vice president in charge of solving this problem, I don't know, it's like making El Chapo the drug czar.
Now, how are you going to review the spending in the federal budget without reviewing the spending?
If the aliens landed tomorrow and said, take me to your leader, it would be embarrassing.
Virtually half the things he says are just absurd and idiotic. And yet, in this breaking story, he himself, the Dumb and Dumber guy, to him and Donald Trump, has just called Trump out on his handling of Vladimir Putin. You have to hear what a sitting senator who's a Republican just said. Here is the story.
Here's what I see. Putin has reneged on every promise that he has made to President Trump. His latest proposal is, well, nothing. He wants to keep all the territory that he's taken. He wants to prohibit Ukraine from joining NATO, and he wants America and Europe to stop helping Ukraine. I think that Putin thinks that America has taken the bullet train to Chunktown. I think he thinks we're afraid of him. He has jacked around President Trump at every turn. He has disrespected our president. I don't think it's going to get any better until we make it clear to Mr. Putin that we are willing to turn him and his country into fish food. And I'm not talking about nuclear weapons or nuclear war. I would start with oil, which I will be glad to talk about if you want.
Yeah, it does make you wonder, what is it going to take? How far down the road are we going to have to go? When is it going to come to Donald Trump's realization that you cannot just sit back and let Vladimir Putin do what he wants? Because the rest of Europe and Western Europe and the rest of our G7 countries are going to lose their mind. You can't just let him barnstorm across Europe. And if you give way to him, he may not do it today. He may not do it tomorrow. I mean, look at what he's done. Today is 2025. The deal he made with Ukraine was in 2014. He waited first 8 years and then 3 more years of war. Look at what he's done. If you think in 2 or 3 years, if you give up half Ukraine or all of Ukraine or a decent part of it, what do you think he's going to do next? And some of these people are starting to look at their kids and their grandkids, and they're starting to understand what kind of world, set climate change aside, set all sorts of other things aside, what kind of world, by my lack of doing anything and complicity, am I putting my kids up or my grandkids up to face down the road? Because if you don't stop Putin now, where are you going to be? And you being maybe have passed and gone out of this mortal coil and died by then doesn't matter. You have to have some responsibility for the world you're leaving behind when you sit in Congress and when you sit in a Senate chair. And thank God in some goofy way, John Kennedy just said that to Donald Trump. We'll see if it makes a difference. You guys have a good rest of your Sunday. Stay frosty.